My name's Jeff Vulpis, and I'm a mindset coach. And I've had a very interesting journey through the process of building my mindset coach business and my speaking business and helping people. I feel that I pull a lot of how I help my clients through things that I went through in my childhood. Um, all kinds of things from, stuttering to poverty to dropping out of high school to overcoming divorce, homelessness twice. Pretty much everything you can face, I've faced it. And I believe that through my faith, God brought me through. And I was very lucky to get Tim Grover as a mentor. And he started pointing me in the right direction with, like, hey, Jeff, you have a gift. You need to sharpen it and hone in on it and really tell your story to help people. So, again, I help bodybuilders, real estate agents, all kinds of people, in life. And I help show them that your mindset is the steering wheel for your life. Where your mindset goes, you're going to go. If you're positive, and it doesn't mean that you block everything out, but if you're positive and you aim towards that, your life's going to go towards that. And you're going to find ways to overcome things instead of excuses to sit on the sideline.
Looking back at your life, you mentioned just some things that you've been through. Did you have the mindset kind of, whether that be kind of growing up or when you were going through challenging times when you're, when you were an adult, did you ever have the feeling of like, this is preparing me for something, even if you didn't really know what, or if you didn't know why I think you were going through these things? Did you ever get kind of a sense of a bigger picture?
Oh, 100%. And like I said, I've faced tons and tons of obstacles since a kid, and I grew up like a lot of family members struggle with, like, I grew up around domestic violence, I grew up around drug addicts, I grew up around a lot of stuff to where you have to be in tune with who you are and what's going on. And the biggest gift I pulled from all that is I'm able to read people like that very fast because, it was a very toxic situation where stuff could have popped off. And I always had faith that this was happening for a reason. God brought me through it. I was able to help people. But to answer your question on a little bit deeper level, yes, probably the biggest lesson I learned was in 2019. I set out to start my business, and I had no clientele. I stuttered. I had no idea what I was doing with coaching. I just knew that I had a gift, I had a focus, and I would figure it out. And I ended up spending almost 2 years in a rest area, homeless, while I was building my business. And what that showed me is right there, that showed me everything I went through, that it's all about mindset. Because through those 2 years and through all the hell that I went through and all the ups and downs and through having absolutely no clients, no nothing, it was, hey, keep working, keep, just like the gym, keep building that muscle, keep going, keep pulling from it, keep getting stronger. And I'm able to help people just problem after problem after problem because there's so many obstacles you face when you're homeless in a car, because it's this weird, almost like no man's land of, like, well, why don't you go sleep on somebody's couch, but you're not completely homeless? And, going back to a rest area, like, starting your day there and finishing your day there, it's like you have to be strong enough to know your goal, and you have to be strong enough to put the work in and keep sowing, even when you're not seeing any kind of rewards whatsoever.
So you mentioned a gift and you said I had a gift and I knew that I had it and you wanted to go after it and see what it could turn into. Where do you think that that mindset initially really even comes from to see something as a gift that isn't quite there yet?
If I could pinpoint it, it would be the fact of, growing up in poverty, growing up with a lot of dark secrets, if you want to call them, coming from, people's family and stuff, that growing up around drug addicts, etc., domestic violence, the complex that it gives you, there's a certain fire within you if you pull from that in a positive way. And it says, you know what? I don't blame anybody around me. I don't fault them. I'm an adult. I know we all have problems and we all have issues. But how far can I take this? Can I break generational curses? Can I actually help people? Can I not make an excuse, and can I find a way? And what happened was, growing up in poverty, and I had two jobs in high school and this and that, and it was always these obstacles. And so, I would go work at the outlet malls, I would go work at these jobs, but I would hit this glass ceiling. And I was like, anybody can do this. This will always be there. Outlet malls, retail, these crappy jobs will always be there. I need to push in the chips on myself, and I need to go for it. And what happened was I got a plan together, and I had a place to stay at the time when I left, but it fell through. And I was like, I'm gonna figure it out. There's single moms that go through stuff and get the lights turned off. There's, Apple started in the garage, Disney started over here. There's no magic if there's no adversity. There's no challenges. Anybody can come from a country club and like a black card and unlimited spending and capital. Can you do it with nothing? Can you do it with faith? Can you do it with hunger and mindset and drive that you just will not quit? And I had to answer that. I had to answer that for myself. And I had to say, a lot of people in my family did great, some didn't. And I was like, I'm not here for excuses. All of society, quote unquote, says I'm a statistic that I shouldn't make it. I should be in jail. I should be doing this. I should be doing this. And I said, screw that. What if I really, really put my faith and was like, let me test the word of God. Let me test my abilities. Let me sharpen my gift. Just like bodybuilders, like you may not have the money to start out meal prepping perfect, but you do what you can. You go do reps, you eat as clean as you can. And as you get more money, you eat cleaner and this and that. It's like, am I going to have a life when I get to the end of it of excuses? Or am I going to have a life that says, damn, I went for it and I pushed my faith and I pushed past obstacles and I'm leaving it better than I found it. And I'm inspiring somebody to say, Jeff had less and he did it. I can do it.
So you're mentioning faith and obviously, looking at your shirt there from a religious aspect, is faith something that has has been there as like a seed from the beginning, or is that something that you found along the way? And with that being said, like is faith something that you look to on a religious and a personal side as two kind of different things, or as one and the same, or as one leading into the other one? Or how do you, where did you find that? And then how did you kind of, I guess, nurture that?
That's a great question. So I'm Italian, and being Italian, you're kind of thrown into being a Catholic, whether you like it or not. And I, I don't judge anybody on anything, but I was raised Catholic, and I'm very grateful for that because that brought me to church, that brought me to reading the Bible and this and that. But when I was 15, I began a personal relationship with God and got saved and got baptized. And you know, I was on fire for my faith and I was speaking and I was doing this, but I went against the religion and had premarital sex and I was asked to leave the church. And that was my biggest growing point because it made me say, I don't depend on people for, what God's saying. I have to open the Bible and I have to search it out and I have to have a personal relationship with Christ. And what is he saying to me? I don't need other people to speak for him. I can open up the Bible and see what he says. And, being 16, that was actually a lot that I was going through. And it's like the same thing God did in the car. He isolated me so much that it was like, I have a choice to believe him and go work on my dreams, or I have a choice to not believe him and complain about stuff. So really from 16 on, my faith has been the foundation of my life. And I really give God the glory of why I'm able to be so fearless because I know no matter what I do, God's got my back. So it gets rid of a lot of anxiety. It lets me push past a lot to where I see a lot more solutions than I do problems, if that answers your question.
Are you a personal trainer, online fitness coach, or gym owner on the verge of burnout? Are you wanting to grow your fitness business but can't add more hours to your hectic schedule? Introducing Trainer Revenue Multiplier, the premier wealth creation system for fitness professionals that helps you earn more and work less. Visit www.trainerrevenuemultiplier.com today to schedule your free business accelerator session. If you're serious about taking your business to the next level, schedule your call today. How did you actually take what you were reading and learning and then like applying those lessons to your everyday life?
So I think, and again, not knocking anybody, to each his own, but I think the biggest thing that pushes people away with religion, unfortunately, is people want to step up and speak for Jesus and they want to act like they died on the cross and Jesus didn't. And they tell you everything that you're doing wrong and they treat the Bible just of a way to beat people over the head and tell them how bad they're doing. And if you really read the Bible, I mean, John 3:16, this is Mel's shirt. But John 3:16, says that God gave his only begotten son that should ever believe in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. So there's love. Like it's people miss the love and they're smothered by the judgment. So when that happened to me, I said, you know what? I have a choice. I can sit here and be beat up by the religious mafia and told everything I'm not, and I shouldn't have tattoos and I shouldn't have that. Or I can open the Bible and go to work and not be lazy and find out what God is trying to tell me. It's called the living word. So, how I educated myself was, and I don't say this in a victim mindset, I really look at it as a blessing. I faced a lot of things that I pray to God a lot of people don't have to face. But in that, the only person was there was God. So if like you and I are hanging out and we're training for a bodybuilding competition, and five people say they're going to keep showing up, but I'm the only one that keeps showing up, it's going to build trust there. It's going to build like, oh, I can trust Jeff because he shows up when he says he's going to. So God never left me. So God was like, hey, I understand pain. I understand this. So when I was young, a lot of my faith was I would go to the index of the Bible and say, okay, let me look up verses for anger. Like I had a lot of anger because I stuffed a lot of stuff I went through and had a lot of rage. So I said, I need to deal with this anger. I need to deal with my anxiety. I need to deal with being alone. So I would go through and stand on these Bible verses for almost like a break glass in case of emergency. Like when I'm having a panic attack, I'm going to stand on this. When things are bad financially and bad for business, I'm going to stand on this. And the biggest thing I stood on where it talks about is God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So who are they talking about? Well, you have to go back and see what God did, whether he parted the Red Sea, whether he had the two fish and the five loaves. And so I had to find out who God was. And that was a lot of digging. That was a lot of trusting. That was a lot of prayer and doing God's will and not mine. So to answer it basically is I took life and instead of going to the bar, instead of going to drugs, instead of going to people that probably didn't have the best advice, the Bible became my index for life. And that's how I grew with it.
So you're talking about kind of like the struggle in some ways and like trying to figure it out and trying to get on the right track and do the right things. And I think that like you're kind of comparing it to bodybuilding, you can compare it to a lot of things, right? It's just figuring out what you want to do and how to do it and then doing it. But for you building that consistency, was that something that you struggled with or was that something that you were always pretty good with? Are you a personal trainer who wants to scale and grow your business online? Have you been coaching online for years, yet don't know how to incorporate online into your current business model? Introducing Trainer Revenue Multiplier, the premier wealth creation system for fitness professionals that helps you earn more and work less. Visit www.trainerrevenuemultiplier.com today to schedule your free business accelerator session. If you're serious about taking your business to the next level, schedule your call today. The Weight Room Podcast is thrilled to announce our new sponsor, Prime Science. They're leaders in harnessing scientific research to revolutionize your fitness journey. With a firm foundation in the latest health sciences, Prime Science offers innovative products to help you achieve and surpass your fitness and health goals. These tools are more than just accessories. They're the result of rigorous scientific research aimed at optimizing your health. Dive deeper into how you can transform your approach to fitness at primescience.co.uk. Trust me, with Prime Science, you're in scientifically sound hands.
Not throwing anybody under the bus, but I didn't grow up around the most supportive people. And a lot of people were like that because of my circumstances where I came from. And a lot of people were like that because of the obstacles I faced. And I was like, okay, this is no kind of support system. Like some people in my family were great, but a lot of people crapped on me. So I'm like, okay, I have a choice. These people are telling me X, Y, and Z. The word of God is telling me A, B, and C. So what I did was at a very young age is which one's working better for me? Well, the word of God is because it supports me. It shows me how to have faith. It lifts me up. So these people are saying crazy things and they're not helping. The word of God is helping me grow. It's helping me heal. It's helping me have confidence. It's helping me get over my stuttering problems. It's helping me be limitless. So on an analytical level, I need to sit here and say, well, which one's helping? It's just like if you're bodybuilding, is the Oreos helping you or the chicken and rice? Oh, the chicken and rice. So I went to the Bible and what it did was I trusted God. And I would say, okay, God, I trust you. I have faith and I'm going with you. The Bible talks about don't serve two masters. So I couldn't be like, well, my family says this, I'm a halfway believe them. And then God says this, I'm a halfway believe them. It was all in. And when I decided to go all in, it wasn't easy. There was a lot of ups, there was a lot of downs, but the good outweighed the bad. And everything I went through, God took it and he sharpened me. And I say this very humbly, I'm so happy and so blessed that I'm at where I'm at now to help people because where I came from, I always wanted to, but with the stuttering, with everything I heard as a child, with all my limiting beliefs, with the lack of confidence I had, I couldn't speak to people. I could never have a conversation like this. Even in 2016, I would still try to publicly speak and stuff. I would sweat, I would throw up. It would be like 8 Mile, throwing up mom's spaghetti. But I decided to say, like, it's more than about me. It's about spreading the love of God and the word of God. And it's about helping people with the right mindset. It's about showing them, like, look, I came from rock bottom multiple times. You don't have to quit. You have a choice. So when I was able to build on my faith and take that and grow with it, that helped me unleash and unlock my gifts and able to do what I do now.
You said that life is not a buffet, and that like that line really kind of hit me because it's something I've never heard of. Like if that's like a very common thing, I've never heard of it, but it's really a great point, and it kind of you're mentioning that like you can't just try this and try that and try this and try that. You have to go and do something. And for you, did you struggle ever to try to like to try to find when I say now to say try to find there, um, did you ever struggle to find, like, what was the thing for you? Like, what was it always gonna be, "This is what I wanna do, this is how I wanna do it," or was it like, "Maybe I'll try this, maybe I'll try that, I know I wanna get to a successful point in my life, but I'm not sure how to get there, so I'm gonna try a million things," or was it from the beginning like, "Oh, man, I know I wanna share my message, and I know I want to help people with their mindset?"
That's a great question. And no, I didn't know from Jump Street. And thank you for that line. No, I just came up with that because I used to be a battle rapper, and sometimes I'll just like pull stuff out of the air with the videos. So no, it took me a long time. Being married twice and this and that, I tried. I thought it was well, I'm gonna go the corporate way and the outlet mall way and the store way, and I'm gonna get so good and be a manager and I'm gonna make an okay living and open up my own clothing line. And that was one section. And then it was like, well, I'm gonna be a battle rapper. And then I went and did that, but then the industry changed, and then I was like, not really helping people. I'm roasting the hell out of them, and the way the industry is, and Napster was coming out, and the way that the industry was really set up, and how it gave the artist pennies and breadcrumbs. I was like, I'd rather do my art form for free than sell it or try to go this garbage route of no lyrics and just really elementary music. I was like, I won't do it. I'll walk away. So I walked away. Then I became a real estate agent. But see, I stuttered really bad, but this happened with Dragon, who used to be a Rough Rider rapper. The instrumental distracted me. So when I was having to give speeches and stuff as a real estate agent, I would stutter, I would sweat, I would not be able to speak, and I absolutely hated it. Every day I dreaded it, and that was 2016 and into 2017. So then 2017 came, and I started to really develop. I started to heal and work on myself, and really, really dig a lot into my PTSD, into my ADD, into my anxiety, all that stuff. And I was like, and you said it, and I didn't want to interrupt you. And what happened was that finally irritated me. I said, I keep seeing these flashes of greatness. Like I'll do something amazing, and it'll be so awesome, and then I won't do crap for 3 months. And I said, why is there no consistency? Why is this? And I started to get, finding personal development, starting out with Anthony Robbins, Tony Robbins, and it led to Tim Grover. And Grover really took me under his wing and personally mentored me and got my head straight. And I started to see, like, this is it. This is why I was a battle rapper. This is why I was this. This is why that. Because a lot of people are like, how do you do the videos all the time? And are you nervous? This and that. I go, you have to understand, I was an Italian going into like these crazy scenarios to where it was, oh, the white boy wants to rap and he's getting booed and this, that. So it's like the mental sharpness that I had to have, and I couldn't suck. Like if I grabbed that mic, I had to win and I had to bring it all. That's the same thing I do to my videos. It's almost like I'm battle rapping myself to say, look, I went through this, you can do it. That's why I say you can't, I'm talking to myself. I was that person that, oh, I'm gonna be a real estate agent, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that. And that's what you are. And it's almost like back in the day when we would download like Napster and all that, and it's, well, this song's 33% and this is 20, this, you have nothing. You have 20% of this, 30% of this, and 100% of nothing. So I was sick and tired of seeing nothing. And I said, I'm going to pray about it. I'm going to focus. And whatever I do next, that's the ship I'm going down with. And I'm 1000% dedicated, and I'm not turning back. And that's why people were like, well, why did you go in the car? And how did you not have a client for 577 days? And how was the first conference you put on your own and you saved up money? You did this. I said, because when I'm all in, I'm all in. But you have to get yourself to that point to be all in. You have to, like Tony Robbins says, burn the boats and take the island. I said, there is no coming back. I'm going to be the best mindset coach. or that's it. And I said, so that's what I'm going to be. So it took a lot of stuff. But again, I feel like with my faith, God was leading me, because how can you do podcasts and how can you do videos and how can you get up and speak in front of people? That I have some kind of idea. I freestyle a lot of it, but I have some kind of idea. But when you're battle rapping and you really respect the art form, you're supposed to freestyle and either you go first or you go off of what somebody says. There is no ace in the hole. There is no ace in your pocket. You got to figure it out. So the last 5 years before I started this really honed in all my gifts to things that I thought I just failed at and I was a loser and I was just like, oh, I struck out on that. I didn't, because it all came together to become this.
Mhm. So what did those 577 days look like for you when you decided, hey, this is what I'm going to do and this is, the goal that I have? Tell us a little bit about kind of like that daily routine, if you will, and just kind of like, were there moments along the way where you felt like, oh, this is a big kind of turning point, or this is at least some kind of turning point, or was it the slow build that was hard to see, or what was that for you?
Basically from day one. So, I traveled a lot as a kid, so I knew rest areas. So once I had nowhere to stay, I was like, that's it. I'll just go to the rest area and I'll see how long I can stay. I'll move spots. Hopefully they won't notice. I'll just, I'll lay low. I'll do what I can. So one night of that, I was like, well, this sucks. So I was like, how can I take control of an uncontrollable situation? Well, a day's 24 hours. I said, I'll be damned if I'm going to sit here for 24 hours. I said, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use this with what I need. So for 5 hours of sleep, that's all it was. Then I had all my stuff in a storage unit. So I would wake up at 5 a.m. I would go brush my teeth in the rest area bathroom, which is mosquitoes, and it looks like Oz, looks like jail in there. It's horrible. And then I would go to the storage unit. I would read my Bible. I would write my goals. I would set my intention for the day. I then, don't forget, I got nowhere to shave, use the bathroom, shower, anything. So I said, how can I do this if I only got a little bit of money? So I went to a Planet Fitness and I said, okay, I'm going to shave in there. And I remember this, like it hurt so bad. I'll never forget days where people would laugh at me because I knew I was homeless, that I was shaving in the bathroom. Like, oh, he was doing this yesterday and this and that. And like, I had to block that out. That really hurt on another level. So I'd go to Planet Fitness and I would get a workout in. And while I was there, I would start networking with people. Network. Hey, I'm Jeff. How you doing? I'm Jeff. How you doing? Network with all these people. They start seeing me in there. They respect my dedication. But you see how I took advantage of that situation. I made it into dedication when it was devastation. It was nothing. It was like, this guy has nothing, but I'm going to turn it into a positive. So I would go there and work out. I would shave. I would shower. And then I would go to the car and I would start banging out on Instagram. I would message people. I would I would video message them. I would send out 35 video messages a day. That's another reason I got so good at videos, because I had to turn the air off because the air would blow in your phone and be loud. So I had to hurry up and do these videos to people. And I'm bald and stuff. So I'll start sweating. So I'm like, I got to be fast with these videos. Otherwise I'm going to be drenched, because it's Florida. It was like 900 degrees. I'm like, I got to be fast. So I would do those videos. I would network. I would, go to Barnes and Noble. I would go to libraries. I would go to thrift stores. I would sacrifice my food money. And I would say, look, I only got $35 to eat for the week. It is what it is. That's not going to buy much. Let me take $7 and buy a loaf of bread and peanut butter, and then have $24 to take and buy books at thrift stores to level up on personal development, because this isn't going to end until I end it. So I have to be my own hero. I have to do what I can. So I would do that. I would go work out. Then at night, everybody left the storage unit in the office at 6 o'clock. So what I would do is I would go there at 6 o'clock. I got a lot of injuries from sports and working out and stuff. So I'd take off my shirt. I had no ice pack, and I'd lay on the floor because it was cold. It was a climate control. And I would use that to ice my back, get better, write my goals for the day, plan the next day, go back to the rest area at about 9 o'clock, listen to a couple more good podcasts, get something in me before I go to bed. And the last thing I did to take control of the situation was there was a pet area walking sign. And I said, this is going to be one of the animal shelters that I open. And I would make sure to park in front of that, because I would say, this is like a vision board before I go to sleep. This is me having faith. And this is me saying, like, no matter what the day comes to, I'm going to get a slam dunk and finish it strong. And I would do that and then just repeat.
How did you take the information from those, motivational or self-help or whatever kind of leadership, whatever kind of books they were, and utilize that kind of like on a daily basis, like right when you were learning it?
Yeah. So, well, when you, so couple different points to that, and that's a great question. That's a great point to hit on, because so many people end up being like tortured geniuses because they have all this information in their head to go do stuff, and they're watching their friends have these conversations how they want to change, and they know it, but they're not doing it. So I said a couple different things, like, you know, me growing up in poverty and this and that. I was like, what do I have? What do I have? What do I have? Excuse me. And same thing when I was a battle rapper and I made my mixtape. I couldn't afford a mic filter. So it was, I cut a container out, a Cool Whip container, and put a wave cap over it. And that was my filter. And I had a coat hanger and I did that. So I had trained myself from a kid of, what do you have? What can you build on? And when you sacrifice your food money and you're eating peanut butter 7 days a week, every single time till you get sick, you're going to say this is valuable. So maybe they're not making moves because they haven't sacrificed enough. Maybe their aunt got them the book, or maybe they got the book because they're part of a book club, or maybe they needed it for a picture and put on their coffee table. I said, this is not going to end until you get this knowledge, learn it, implement it, and help people with it. So I didn't have the choice of sitting around and this and that. But to help the people that may be doing that, you have to get up and do it. Like, people think social media, like, oh, all my ducks are in a row. And the first day I got a Lambo, and the first day this. Look, even setting up my LLC, I could write a book at how you can make every mistake, even if you know you could make it. I made every mistake you could make with an LLC. So what? I still had one. I had to fix it. I had to pay a lot of fees. I had to make a lot of phone calls. I had to laugh at myself a lot. I don't care. I said, this is going to get done. Now, nobody's telling you, like, if you can't cook a microwave dinner, go be a chef. No, learn your gift, get what you can, build upon it, and learn along the way. Like Warren Buffett said, a genius with an idiot with a plan can beat a genius without one. A lot of people complain, like, oh, so and so is not even that smart, and they're out here doing this, and so is not even good, and they got that done. But they stepped up and did it. It's almost like when we were in high school, everybody wanted to dance with the hot girl, but it's the kid that you couldn't believe went and got her because he got up off the chair and off the wall and went and asked her. You have to go after your dreams. It's never going to be perfect. You're never going to get everything right. And there's never going to be that magical day where everything comes together and all your ducks fly in a row. It doesn't happen. So you have to put your ego to the side and say, let me get what I can and go with what I got and figure it out along the way.
Those 577 days, I think you said, and you finally got that first client, I guess it was. I mean, what was that for you, and how did you, like, how, what did that feel like to know, like, okay, I've hit this point. All this work that I've done is paid off in some way. So how did you respond to that? And then how did you respond to like knowing, okay, or maybe did you feel like, okay, I have to do all of that work again to get a second? Or did you feel like, okay, I'm on a good track now, I have this momentum, or I have this system in place that will help me bring in more? Or really, what was that like for you when you got your first one? Was there a little bit of maybe like excitement, but maybe some fear behind that as well?
That's a great question. Yeah. So I went so hard in fifth gear to get it, I almost ran the opportunity over. So I had to switch my mindset. And that's part of the thing of, that was a huge education I had, because I'm a wonderful coach, but for the longest I sucked at business. I had no idea what to charge. I had no idea how to keep the wheel going, so to speak, and be like, okay, well, you know, don't let the client run out 30 days and then say, do you want to re-up? Like, do it 2 weeks in or do this. So, you know, and then I was so happy that I got that client that I focused everything on that. And then it was like, oh, the 30 days are up. I didn't plan for the next thing. So it took me like a year and a half to get a system going and to get like, okay, well, you know, now I need to find out this and I need to find out that. And then it's a great point what you made, and this is where I made a mistake, and I'm not blaming anybody but myself. And this is something where I don't want to say I didn't trust myself, but I depended maybe too much on other people, and I followed all these gurus that, you know, like, oh, do this and do that and send 800 emails and send this and send that, and not knowing, like, hey, this person has $500,000 to put in for the year, or this or that. So I had to understand algorithms. I had to understand systems. I had to understand, like, what are they quote unquote cooking with. So I made a lot of mistakes of not the coaching side, but the business side. And it took me a good year and a half from basically getting hit in the mouth, so to speak, financially, of like, there's a business side to this. There's a business side to this. You developed yourself so much as a coach that you were very underdeveloped with the business. So I had to coach myself and be like, look, it's not your coaching, Jeff. It's not your coaching. These videos are making impacts. You're getting DMs, you're getting comments like, oh, you changed my life and help me. So I had to do this thing of like, I wanted to help people, but I had to be okay with, hey, I need you to make an investment because this is how I feed myself and my family. This is my time. And so I really struggled at like, what do I charge? Um, does this person really need help, or are they using me? And I say that very humbly. It happens sometimes. You get used and people don't, oh, well, I thought you really want to help people. I do, but I got bills too, So it was really like a year and a half of just taking it on the chin and not knowing anything and just getting a hard knock education of, you're a great coach on a scale of 1 to 10. You're a 25 as a coach, but on a scale of 1 to 10 with business, you're about a 3. And that 3 really, really hurt me and almost crumbled everything. So, yeah, it was a lot of just, you have to know both sides of the coin. And that was a hard education to learn. Here's the problem I ran into. And it's not good. It's bad. It is what it is. This t-shirt, you have something to gauge it by. If this t-shirt is $25, okay, some t-shirts are 10, some are 35, some are 50. You have something to gauge it by. And please, this is anybody that watches this, I'm not talking crap. It's just, I'm trying to bring a lot of light to the industry because it's watered down. There's a lot of shysters, unfortunately, and there's a lot of confusion about personal development. Some people tell you do it for free. Some people say charge $10,000. Some people say this, some people say that. The aha moment for me was, I was listening to a Jim Rohn seminar, and he said, when it comes to the marketplace, you don't get paid for time, you get paid for value. And what I had to understand is, well, how can I wrap my head around helping these people in 30 days and charging X amount of dollars? Well, wait a minute. Same thing with Belichick. When Belichick coached for the Patriots and won those 6 things, those 6 championships, he didn't get paid like $20 million for 18 games. He got paid for the championship. He spent years in the pits of just these dark rooms studying film and this and that, and it took him forever to get to that point. So as coaches, you look and say, well, how can I charge, this amount for 30 days? Because I've invested in myself for the last 40 years to get to this point. So you have to say, like, the advice I would give is do what works for you. But if you're gonna charge somebody like $1,000 a month, give them more. Science of Getting Rich talks about this. Give them more in value than you charge them. So if I'm charging you $1,000 for coaching, let's say, I'm giving you $1 million worth of knowledge. Because here's the thing: somebody may say, well, why should I spend $1,000 on coaching when a book's $20? Okay, go get the book. That's $20. And most people read 1.2 books per year. You're not going to read the book. There's implementation, there's systems, there's everything that I got here. So like what I tell people is, life coaching it's not something you can get off Pinterest. It's not something you can watch off YouTube. It's a process of me guiding you through the process. It's one-to-one. It's a system that I created. So I'm very comfortable with saying to myself, I have to charge this because here's why. Time cannot be replaced. If I'm over here charging $3 for coaching and I got to go work at Burger King or this one or that one, my time cannot be invested sharing my gift and helping people. So any coach out there, invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. You want people to invest in you, invest in yourself. It's called personal development. So personally develop yourself, grow, get a system together. You might have to start out at a little bit lower scale at first. That's fine. Don't listen to all these stupid gurus that want you to confuse you until you're ready to jump off a bridge and then go to their seminar and all this crap. Do what works for you and believe in yourself, but give people more value than you charge them. That would be my advice to people about that.
The Weight Room Podcast is proud to be partnered with Prime Science, our new sponsor and a trailblazer in health technology. Prime Science is dedicated to pushing the boundaries of what's possible in health and fitness through extensive research and scientific validation. Their products are a testament to their commitment to safe, scientifically backed health optimization. To learn more about how Prime Science is redefining fitness with valid science, visit primescience.co.uk. Join us in embracing a future where fitness meets rigorous scientific practice with Prime Science. This podcast is sponsored by Smoking Gun Coffee, a veteran-owned coffee company that strives to give back to those in need. Don't forget to use code TWR10 for a 10% discount at checkout.
Also, a lot of these coaches say do it for free. Don't do it for free because they have no skin in the game. They don't value it. It's like if you go to a baseball game and you get a free hat and then the baseball game's 30 miles away, you're not turning around because you're like, oh, it's free. But if you spend $1,000 on that hat and it was autographed, you're turning around, you're calling the park, you're asking them to hold it. It's a different mindset, different mentality. So don't do the free stuff. But back to what you said, what do I do to develop myself every day? And this is advice I'm going to give to a lot of life coaches out there that it's easy to miss this. And I missed it for a long time. When you're a coach, and I learned this from God because God would always pour into people, but then he would row in the boat to regroup. He would get away from people a certain amount of time. So I'm giving with my videos, I'm giving with my posts, I'm giving with phone calls and coaching and clients. I can't be depleted because then I'm not going to be a good coach. I'm not going to benefit from my videos and from my posts and actually live what I'm saying. So what I do is for me, I'll have I got this from Bob Proctor and them. I don't know if it was now I'm losing people. If it's JP Morgan or one of the people that built America that charged people, but the razor's edge, the 6 things they do every day for the business to grow it. So what I do is I'll have 6 things for my business, but that's business growth. Then I also need 6 things for Jeff Vulpis' growth. So what I'll do is I'll do like something on manifesting, like I'm listening to the science of getting rich. Then I'll do 30 minutes of a Jim Rohn seminar, and then I'll read 20 pages of a book. So I'm pouring into myself every single day. And when I work out, I'm listening to Tim Grover, I'm listening to YouTube videos. So I've really learned to, Tony Robbins talks about net time, like no extra time, because being a coach and time is money, I don't have 3 hours to sit here and just go to Disney World and stuff, because I'm on a mission building. So I'm very intentional about my time. I'm very intentional. Like I love Guns N' Roses. I love certain music, but I'm like, is this going to help me now? Or let me do the personal development and then the music. So it's kind of like old school eating my vegetables. You know what I'm saying? So I have to make sure. And sometimes I don't do it and I feel the loss, almost like when we don't work out and we just feel that anxiety and we feel like we screwed up the day. I have to have my personal development because I have to grow because now as a coach, I 1000% know how important that is. So I have to be very intentional about it.
Telling yourself the truth and acting on what you say you're going to do and how powerful that really is.
Yeah, 100%. And the biggest thing and how I got disciplined with that, a secret is if you like, I do life coaching full time. I don't work at the Alamo. I don't sell houses. It's life coaching, and I hunt or I don't eat. There's good days, there's bad days. So in that, each day I'm paying for. And people are like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, those bills that come in the mailbox and this and that, I either get them or I don't. So if my bills are 5,000 a month, take that and divide by 30, and that's what it costs me each day. I better make that. And if I don't, I paid for it. So what I had to see was you're paying yourself for this day. You're paying yourself for this day. So you better get every single second out of it that you can. And you made a good point of it's keeping the promises you make to yourself. And it's just like if you and I were going to work out, if those 5 people don't come and I show up, Jeff's here, we're going to work out. So yeah, me and Jeff can now do a training program because he met me at the gym every day. So if you're telling yourself, hey, it improves on so many relations. You want to date somebody, you want to go in business with them, it has the benchmark of you saying, if I say I'm going to call 20 people, I call 20 people. And what it does is with me paying myself every day with that, I make a list and I'm like, okay, those 6 things, I got done 5 of them, I got done 4 of them. And then at the end of the week, I look and I say, okay, you've been screwing up. So what's going on? Is it something mental? Are you lazy? Are you spending your time with the wrong people? So it's like game film. So each day I see, well, Tuesday I hit it out the park. Wednesday I was lagged, almost like an athlete, with the rest load. So that's my game film. And at the end of the week, I'm like, you killed it Monday, you killed it Tuesday, you sucked Wednesday, Thursday you were good, Friday and Saturday you did nothing. So what happened? So it lets me say, instead of just being hard on myself, like machine gunning myself, it lets me take away the emotion, and it lets me get analytical and say, okay, maybe the workload's too much. Maybe you're not focusing on the right thing. Maybe you're not moving the needle. Maybe you're not investing in yourself and you're tired and you just didn't put it all in. So it's very, very important to keep those promises, but to track the promises that you're making. And really for yourself, you don't have to do a video about it on social media. Hold yourself accountable. Because if you can't hold yourself accountable, you can't truly build relationships with other people because you'll never trust them, because you don't know what trust is, because you can't hold them accountable because you never held yourself accountable.
What do you see? What is your vision in regards to, like, okay, I want to have this. I want to achieve this. I want this to be my brand recognition or my legacy that I'm leaving behind.
I'm 40, so I plan to have a good 45-year run. Tony Robbins is going to be hanging it up soon. Somebody else has to take over, as you know what I'm saying, like up there in the upper echelon. And I feel in my eyes, Tim Grover's the best. I'm partial because I know him and he's my mentor, but I want to have a good 45-year run. I want to be the absolute best mindset coach. When somebody says the word mindset, I want them to think of Jeff Vulpis. That's my personal goal. Now, I want to help as many people as possible. And I want to show them that, look, I came from the 80s, so I know what it's like to have drug addict families. I know what it's like to be a statistic. I know what it's like to drop out of high school, end up in jail, be homeless, be divorced. All the odds stacked against you. What I want to do personally is test the word of God, build the best mindset I can, and make the biggest impact so that when I do go on to heaven, I say, I found the world better than I left it, but I left them with a game plan. I left them to see, like, look, Jeff came from this and this is what he did. And it's doable and I can do it. And so I want to leave this system behind so nobody has any more excuses. Is that going to happen? Is it going to be perfect? No, it's not. But Bill Walsh says if you aim for perfection and miss it, you're still going to be great. If you aim for average and miss it, you're going to be horrible. So I just put that bar way up there and I just want to accomplish everything I can. And I want to have a 45-year run of when they say mindset, they say Jeff Vulpis.
That's awesome, man. I look forward to following along with you and, supporting in any way I can. It's been great getting to chat and meet you. And, looking back on, in 10 years and 20 years, we're going to look back on this conversation and I'm going to say, hey, I talked to that guy. I know that guy. It's
Yes.
really crazy that, I got to speak to him when he had those ambitions that later got to play out. So best of luck moving forward. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thank you. And thanks for having me on the show. And the same with your podcast. Your podcast is catching fire. I love the guests that you have. I love how you have the variety. I love how you dig with the guests. I love how you really find out, what makes them tick. And you really put a lot into your show. And I appreciate what you bring to me and all the other viewers.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. If you want
You're
to,
welcome.
before you head out, if you want to share any socials or websites or anything like that, you can.
Sure, I appreciate it. So it's at Jeff Vulpis, JeffVulpis, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok.
If you're tired of searching for a coach or trainer, somebody who knows what they're talking about and has experience, make sure you go check out the new Coach's Corner on weightroompodcast.com. You can find quality, qualified coaches to help you achieve your goals, whether that's in bodybuilding or just general fitness. Stop wasting time and start achieving your goals today. The link to the Coach's Corner is down in the description below.